check 1-2-1-2. Copy here. Got you loud and clear. Green, rolling fine.
The Performance Motorsports Network presents Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby.
I know what the tradition is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby!
Now, from the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here is your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning rubber, baby. It's that time again. The fastest 60 minutes on radio is here, Burning Rubber Radio. And I'm your host, Andy DeLay, ready to talk NASCAR, Formula One, and everything else that's going on. But first, we have to congratulate one AJ Allmendinger, who won. Buddy. That's right. He won at the Roval this weekend. And folks, we all won because one of the folks that helped prep that car is our very own Jeremy Taylor. And he was right there. He was the guy that was hugging AJ on TV when he came through the gate there at the end of the race. That was some great stuff. And let me say real quick that Jeremy said not only is it his win and colleagues' win and AJ's win, but he wants to let everybody know out there in the Burning Rubber Radio Army that's listening that it's your win too. He started right here from day one on Burning Rubber Radio. Of course, he's my cousin. I've known him forever and now works at Colleague Racing and wants you to share in this win. So that's the first thing we did is let you know that you won this weekend, Burning Rubber Radio listeners.
Yes,
Wayne,
sir. Yes,
great
sir.
stuff.
Man, it was some great stuff indeed. Watching AJ dominate in the Cup Series this weekend at Charlotte Roval. And now, officially with that, the round of 8 is set. And, of course, the last round coming in now for the round of 8 in the Truck Series as well. All time to culminate, Andy. 4 races is all that's left to get into the Championship 4 at Phoenix.
That's right. The Championship 4 at Phoenix. And, folks, in case you may be a little confused, you hear us talk about the Championship 8, Championship 12, Championship 4. Then you'll hear different names. Well, that's because the Cup Series runs theirs, Xfinity Series runs theirs, and the Truck Series runs theirs. So there's going to be different names, of course. And, of course, we're going to break that all down in this show here just so that you understand all that.
Exactly. Yep. We're going to have a full breakdown of everything and anything, including some scenarios too. What if the round of 8 were to end this weekend coming up at Vegas? We'll talk about that. And we'll do that every week leading up to the final race at Homestead right before the Championship 4. Yes,
sir, we will. And I'm going to take a second here to also give a shout out to all of our advertisers and sponsors. Monster 3X Concept Lures. If you like to fish, you can catch them with Monster 3X. If you're listening to us in the Tan Talk Network down in Tampa, Florida, Monster 3X Concept Lures, you can get them at Tailwater Outfitters and several other places down here in the Tampa Bay area. Monster3xusa.com is where you need to go if you're not in the Tampa Bay area. That's monster3xusa.com. And, of course, Luwak Energy Drink. Can't get it in the USA yet. And but they are a big sponsor of ours here. That's coming. We're helping bring Luwak a coffee energy drink to the U.S., And what else, Wayne?
And, well, not only with Luwak, we can honestly say, folks, from what we've heard from our friends over in Italy where it originates, it is the cat's meow.
I guess you can put it that way, yeah. It is. Okay. Anyway, of course, we're also going to be talking a little bit about the big test coming up with the brand new, and you've heard it here first, Bobby Dale Earnhardt and Alex Pignon Motorsports, which is just formed. We're going to be giving you exclusive coverage of the test at the Motor Mile on November 2nd. Am I correct? Is what it is.
Yep, November 2nd. We're going to be giving full coverage of the test. And we're also going to be taping the week's show that airs after the test from Motor Mile. We're going to be sitting down with Alex. We're going to be sitting down with Bobby Dale. Zachary Murtis is going to be there with us too. The NASCAR chef John Dix, and a very special guest, one Ron Hornaday, is going to be joining us as well.
looking forward to. I won't be there, unfortunately. I got to drive the police car around down in Kansas City. So, but I'll be there in spirit anyway, buddy.
Hey, that works out too, buddy. And there's rumor that Noah Gregson may also show up as well too. So who knows? We may be able to talk to Gregson for a little bit as well.
Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be great. I haven't heard. I know he can go racing again, but I haven't heard if he is or who's going to talk to him.
I haven't heard about anything yet, as far as a definite is concerned. But we'll be paying very close attention to that and see what we find out in that regard. And speaking of paying close attention to things, we've got to step aside, take our first LUAC Energy 4 and fuel of the show. When we come back, we've got news of the week, talking everything Cup and Xfinity for you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And Andy, it's that time of the show, brother, where we get into some news of the week here. And the opening salvo this week, the Cup Series and Xfinity Series runs this past weekend at the Charlotte Roval up in Concord, North Carolina. And started off with the Cup Series, like we said in the opener of the show here. AJ Allmendinger, absolutely dominant this past weekend at the Charlotte Roval. And, you know, we were talking about this off the air where, you know, there were points in time where William Byron could have gotten a bumper up on AJ, but, you know, AJ's 4 previous back-to-back wins at the Charlotte Roval in the Xfinity car made it to where what he knew heading in, even with the Gen 7 car, it virtually made him unstoppable.
couldn't touch him. You saw William Byron really try to put a bumper on him there on the last lap coming back out onto the main track there. And he dang near wrecked himself, be honest with you. He was really trying his best, but he had nothing for AJ.
No, he really did not have anything for AJ. In fact, actually got himself so squirrely that we almost saw what happened with Ty Gibbs earlier in the race.
Yeah, that's true.
And folks, this is something else that me and Andy were talking about too off the air. Actually, we were talking about this yesterday. You look at the way that Ty Gibbs races when it comes to everything that's done. Comparatively speaking to the level of skill versus will and all of that other stuff, Ty Gibbs, he's a talented race car driver. I will give him that hands down. He has learned from the best, including his grandpa Joe, but when it comes to the skill of using the thing called a brain in his head, he does not know how to, one, keep his temper in check, but again, 19 years old, I guess, obviously he's still learning.
21.
Oh, is he 21?
Just turned 21.
Oh,
he sure did. He just had a birthday the other day.
Well, actually, yeah, that's right. His birthday was this past weekend. But 21 years old, again, the human brain doesn't even form until you're 25 properly. So, but that's no excuse. He's got to learn to keep his temper in check, and he's got to learn to stop pissing people off. And yes, I am opening up the Air Wrench Hotel this week because there are going to be a lot of them.
It's called racecraft, and he hasn't developed his racecraft. He went out there and beat the hell out of everybody in the Xfinity series simply because he had a lot better equipment.
Yep.
And now that the equipment's more on par with everyone else's, especially with this Gen 7 car, you can see that he's not out there kicking everyone's ass the way he did before. So it is what it is. He is running in Kyle Busch's old 18 car, even though it's 54, same team, same everything. And you can see that he doesn't have the racecraft that Kyle Busch has and had while running that car. So until he figures out how to race and hone his craft, he's still going to suck.
Well, and racecraft aside from Kyle Busch, he doesn't have the same racecraft that a Dale Earnhardt Sr. had. And now the reason we're comparing it like that is we're comparing drivers that we know have tempers when they're on the racetrack. Now everybody's got a temper, but some have more of a temper than others. One being Kyle Busch, one being Tony Stewart, another being Dale Earnhardt Sr. And then you go all the way back into the early 70s and 80s, and one Darrell Waltrip, who had a very bad temper when it was on the racetrack. And from a racecraft perspective, it's not there for Ty Gibbs, nor is his what's the word I'm looking for? He's not apropos to knowing how to say the right thing at the right time. And again, all he knows how to do is piss people off. Earnhardt, he would tell you what was on his mind, but he knew the right place and the right time to do it. Kyle Busch, same thing. And he has actually toned down a little bit, all things considered.
Yes.
Tony Stewart, albeit the same way. His rookie career, yeah, he was a lot like Ty Gibbs, but, he calmed down real quick. And, he still let people know when you pissed him off. So there's no doubt about that one. Ross Chastain, same thing this year. Ross would let you know when you really irked him horribly too. That is until NASCAR went pee-pee slapping earlier this year.
That's the truth. He hasn't done anything ever since they had the come to Jesus with him, and his team, I guess, did too. They jerked his chain, and he's done nothing since, and that's a shame because I loved the way that Ross Chastain was doing things.
Yep, I was enjoying his temperament too because it was very reminiscent of one Dale Earnhardt Sr. Back in the 90s and early and back in the 80s as well. But speaking again to temperaments, take somebody like Darrell Waltrip, for instance. Waltrip was a sarcastic son of a bitch. And I even heard this from Kyle Petty when listening to PRN yesterday. You know, Daryl, his way of getting under people's skin wasn't pissing them off on the racetrack. It was getting sarcastic in the media. And back then, you didn't have a whole lot of TV. You didn't have a whole lot of radio. You still had it. But the biggest thing back then was print. And sarcasm does not print well.
Yeah, there's no little smiley emojis or nothing.
Yep.
In that back then. So yeah, everyone just thought that you were, get ready, an asshole.
Yep.
There goes those wrenches again.
Oh, trust me, this whole segment is the Air Inch Hotel this week. So, but moving on here, one last one we'll touch on real quick before we get into our next LUAC Energy 4 and Fuel, and that being the Xfinity Series and Sam Mayer. Win to get in situation for the round of 8. And boy, speaking of domination, Andy, he really put a ass whipping on everybody.
He did. He's won. He has 3 Xfinity wins. Mm-hmm. All came this season. All came on road courses. I think he said something to the effect of that he's doing the AJ Allmendinger effect or something like that, just winning all on. And whoever heard of Sam Mayer? He wasn't a Trans Am guy before he came here. Nope. He was nothing like that. He's just all of a sudden honing his craft on road courses. Really good stuff and a heck of a good show. A dominating show for the junior motorsports car and Sam Mayer.
Exactly. We're going to be breaking down all of that stuff coming up with our round of 8 breakdown in the next segment. Right after this, LUAC Energy 4 and Fuel. And again, Andy, when we come back, breaking down the round of 8 in both the Xfinity and the Cup Series, as well as the Truck Series.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
and adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the Procure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog. Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And Andy, I got to be honest, man, the round of 8, it's here, and there are a lot of there are a lot of names that did not make it in that we were expecting to potentially make it in this time around.
True. A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the cut comes and it don't care. You don't have the points, you ain't going. Or if you didn't get the win, you ain't going anywhere. One person I think that got really, really lucky in the Cup Series going into the round of eight is Denny Hamlin. He junked his car and still made it in just by virtue of the playoff points that he made.
Exactly. Yep. Between the playoff points, the stage points, and everything else, Denny barely managed to squeak his way in. I mean, he's up towards the top, like 27 to the good, but after a 37th place finish last weekend here at the Charlotte Roval, it's going to be a redemption week for him coming up at Vegas, I think.
Yeah, he'll run good at Vegas. He always does. But he's going to have to run really good or win to get into that Final Four.
Yep,
because he ran his mouth when he won at Texas, I think it was.
Yep,
and said that it's our year and that this is the year we're going to make the championship and all. Well, let's put your money where your mouth is, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to see exactly what Denny Hamlin can do coming up this weekend at Las Vegas. But speaking of breaking down everything for the round of 8. The first thing we got to talk about is going to be the eliminations that happened this past weekend at the Charlotte Roval. Ross Chastain does not make it in. Again, we talked about it in the last segment. Ever since they tightened the chain on him a little bit, he is just not gone anywhere this season. And, with that being the case here, he actually finished 12 points off the cut line to make it in. And now another one that I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised that he's cut. I'm actually surprised he even made it into the playoffs to begin with. Is one Bubba Wallace. He is out of it now, 17 below. Brad Keselowski, who had a very rough go of things yesterday at the Charlotte Roval, even jumped the chicane to the point that the rule set that is clearly defined for the Charlotte Roval, if you jump that chicane and skip the course, you literally have to stop where you're at on the racetrack and wait for everybody to go by you.
Yeah, and I know Bubba Wallace had that happen to him too on the back chicane. Mm-hmm. He slowed way down but didn't stop, and then NASCAR made him stop up at the start-finish line.
Uh-huh.
And then after the race, man, Bubba, he's over there crying like a little baby and having to have Michael Jordan over there consoling him. If I was Michael Jordan, I would have clapped him and said, "Come on!"
You can call it like it is, Andy. We have the air wrench for a reason. He was crying like a bitch.
Okay, there you go. Yes. and I just get sick of that. He just needs to ball up and be a driver, man.
Mm-hmm.
You win some, you lose some. Okay, let's go win the next race.
Yep, exactly. And then of course another one that sadly got eliminated, and we touched on this off the air here, is one Kyle Busch. He is not moving on to the round of 8, and when he moved over to RCR this year from JGR, not only did him and Richard Childress make amends over everything that happened from years and years ago, but Kyle has been, it's not been a stellar year for him, but up until this past weekend at the Charlotte Roval, he was doing really good, but the Roval, he really just threw the anchor out.
He did. He threw the anchor out. But in contrast to Bubba Wallace, he just manned up to it. He came up and said, "Hey, this is on me. Yep. I'm the one that dropped the ball here," and he'll just move forward.
Yep, exactly. He was open. He openly said, "I threw out the anchor." So yeah. Moving on though, now real quick here, while we have a second though, to talk about the round of 8, and this being if things were to end today. If things were to end today and say Vegas, let's say after Vegas, we move right into the championship 4. At this point in time, and MTJ was another one who barely made it in, Andy, your top 4 going in for the championship would be William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson.
Okay.
So it would literally
Kyle
be
Larson.
it would literally be Hendrick versus Gibbs for the championship.
Hendrick versus Gibbs, but you said Kyle Larson, and man, he's been as dominating as he's ran in the past. He's just been barely squeaking by some things. And granted, he was in a position to win several races this year, and either A, junked himself or someone else junked him. And again, that's racing. But I think he may be your dark horse that'll come from middle of nothing, nowhere, and win this whole thing.
So you think he's got championship number 2 waiting in the wings, huh?
I wouldn't bet against him.
Fair enough. And but we got to talk about though the ones that made the round of 8 all the way up to this point here though, and it's a solid round of 8 too. We said William Byron, Denny Hamlin, MTJ, a couple of other ones that we didn't talk about yet. One being Tyler Reddick, Seabell making it again this year, Ryan Blaney making it again this year. And one guy who I am tickled to death to see making it into the round of 8 and hopefully makes it into the round of 4, we will see, is one Chris Buescher.
Yeah, because he's our friend, buddy. We love Chris.
Yeah, we do.
And it's good to see him running as strong as he has this year. Yeah, he deserves all of this. So, Chris, we're always behind you. I'd love to see him take it all. I really, really would.
That it would be so sweet to see him get the championship. But time will tell. Still 4 races left in the season for NASCAR Cup Series. Moving on over now to the Xfinity Series, and after the round of 8 round of 8 cutoff race. This past weekend here, two notable names that we know, well, actually 3 notable names even, for that matter of fact, that did not make it in this time around. Previous Xfinity Series champion Daniel Hemrick, who won back in 2021. Parker Kligerman, another one who did not make it in, and only missed it, Andy, by, I kid you not, 5 points.
Yeah, and a bumper there at the end of the Xfinity Series race. He was a bumper off of advancing, which, it stinks. And of course, again, Parker Kligerman, he's another one of the folks that we love and talk to a lot. But Parker, I didn't even think was going to make it to the not to the championship 4, but just to the playoffs, period, this year. And good on him. He had a strong run, and he'll be back next year.
Yep, he definitely will be. And then one other one, too, that didn't make it in, and God, I hate seeing this one, too. Josh Berry did not make it into the round of 8 as well. He was in, him and Jeb Burton both were in a win-to-get-in situation because they were well over 40 points below the cut line. But you know what? I look at it this way. Josh now can ride out the rest of the season, just lay back, have a good old time. Maybe, who knows, maybe snag a few wins while he's at it. Because God knows he's a dominant driver. There is no doubt about that. But, this will give him a chance to kind of relax and go into the offseason and get prepped for his transition to SHR in that number 4 car next year.
That's right. He'll be taking over the ride from Kevin Harvick when Harvick retires from the track and goes to the booth next year. And it's going to be interesting to see how Josh does this. Josh Berry, folks, is somebody that got in on merit, not just to the SHR, but into NASCAR. He ran his ass off on the local tracks, caught the attention of Dale Earnhardt Jr., doing that in iRacing, and worked his way up and got Junior to put him in an Xfinity Series car. No big money behind him at all.
Yep.
And worked his way into the Cup Series.
The only sponsor that Josh even had back in his days in the Cars Tour was iRacing. So
that's it.
At that point, Josh showed off his racecraft, and again, because Josh is my age. Josh is in his 30s, so it proves that you can make your way up into the top rungs of NASCAR even at an older age. So there is no doubt about that, and so good on Josh Berry. And I look to see what he can do next year in the Cup Series, because he already showed what he could do when he was filling in for Chase Elliott when he had the broken leg earlier this year.
That's right. He did a heck of a job doing that.
Yep, that he did. But your round of 8 competitors now, as we move in now, getting ready to go to Vegas for the Xfinity Series. John Hunter Nemechek is on the point. Justin Allgaier second. Sam Mayer, again, the win to get in. Gets him third place overall in the point standings now heading into the round of 8. Cole Custer, another one who went down a peg from the Cup Series, just like John Hunter did, and has found pretty decent success with his Stewart-Haas car. So, again, great stuff for Cole Custer. Austin Hill is in 5th. Chandler Smith is going to be 6th. Sammy Smith is in 7th. And another good friend of the show in Sheldon Creed rounds out the round of 8.
Yeah, Sammy Smith. This is his rookie year, too.
Mm-hmm. That it is.
He's done a heck of a job running that Gibbs car, so big thumbs up.
That he has. I am very, very proud of Sammy Smith. But now, again, setting up the scenario. If the round of 8 were to end after this weekend at Las Vegas, the drivers that would transfer into the Championship 4 race at Phoenix would be...
For the Xfinity Series.
For the Xfinity Series, yes. Would be John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, and Sam Mayer. So you would have Junior versus RCR versus JGR.
All powerhouses.
Exactly. So that makes that a lot more interesting to think about who could possibly take it home. And again, folks, we're going to break all of this down every single week, not just Vegas. We're going to do it for Martinsville coming up next week, and then Homestead, Miami the week after that. And then the Championship 4 race at Phoenix. We're going to break everything down to round out the 2023 season. Moving on now over to the Truck Series, though. As we know, they're already 2 races deep into their round of 8. And so they're going to be crowning their Championship 4 after Homestead, Miami coming up in a couple of weeks' time on the 21st of October. And if it were to have ended after the last race at Talladega, you would see Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, which is a great name to see moving into the Championship 4, Christian Eckes, and Mr. Bloody Broken Nose himself, Nick Sanchez.
Nick Sanchez got fined $5,000 for getting his ass kicked by Matt Crafton. That's still the funniest thing that's happened this year.
Yeah, it is. And now, granted, yeah, Crafton got fined $25K for throwing the punch. But, you know, the thing of the matter is, and I'm just going to call it out right now, and we talked about it last week, you see racecraft in many different ways. You see the iRacing racecraft, and then you see the actual on-track racecraft. Crafton has the on-track racecraft. Sanchez has the iRacing racecraft, where he thinks it's cool to talk smack and get away with it because it's a virtual platform. But one thing he doesn't realize is that the wily veteran and Matt Crafton, there's an old saying that went around back in the day. It was talk shit and get hit.
And get hit. Well, he did. The kid, you know, Crafton's been around forever, 20-some years. So he's, you know, this kid wants to come over there and trying to shoot his mouth off to Matt. Well, he ate a knuckle sandwich. Well, basically his nose did, and that was the end of it.
And the best part is considering that was the funniest thing of the year, we all know what that deserves.
Let's hear it.
Oh,
exactly.
Man. Yep. And Muttley was on point with that one.
Oh yeah, gosh, you know, just the fact, I got my ass kicked in the garage area in front of everybody. That stunk. NASCAR, see, and that part of it gets put on social media, but then NASCAR comes and just adds, you know, insult to injury and fines you $5,000.
Oh, yep. Whoopsie. What's the other? Well, actually, there. You remember the old game Mortal Kombat? They had. They had it was Mortal Kombat in the Truck Series, and then of course Crafton had the Toasty move of the week.
Oh, he did.
Folks, if you're listening, we know you don't necessarily like the sound effects, but in this case, it's one of those situations where it's justified.
It is definitely justified.
Oh, man. But with that said here, folks, that breaks down everything for the round of 8 for all 3 of the top 3 series in NASCAR, heading into Las Vegas Motor Speedway this weekend for the Cup and Xfinity Series. Trucks won't be back until Homestead on October 21st. But with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take our next LUAC Energy 4 and fuel it. You smell it, Andy?
No, has it made it to my side of the room yet?
No, the NASCAR chef's here.
Oh, it's time to eat. Okay, I thought you were farting again. Yeah.
NASCAR chef John Dix when we come back.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little relative experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
This is Burning Rubber Radio. Now let's get cooking in the kitchen with the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio, and it's producer Wayne hanging out with you. As you see, this dude over here, he had to run to the bathroom so fast in between the commercial breaks here that literally his face is frozen in time. And, of course, we have the NASCAR chef, John Dix, here with us. John, what is good, buddy?
Hey, guys, burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby. You know what? The more I look at this picture of Andy and just how he's sitting there running, it kind of looks like that. You remember that gorilla meme that's been making its way around social media where the gorilla's like, and all of a sudden it's like,
Lord.
That looks like Andy right now.
I got you.
I wished I had that. I swear, I wished I had the video so the folks could see that. You probably, if you haven't seen it on social media, eventually you will. We'll just put it that way. And actually, speaking of omnivores and doing a little vegetation here, John, this week's recipe is a little bit of a veggie treat, huh?
Yeah, Wayne, this time of year, a lot of people have their gardens. They got their broccolis and carrots and cauliflower and all their root vegetables and their fall vegetables going. And we're going to do a carrot and broccoli salad.
All right. Well, folks, again, carrot broccoli salad this week from the NASCAR chef, John Dix here. John, take it away, brother. Tell us what we got in it.
Okay, guys, we're going to start with 6 carrots. You want to shred them. 1 small head of broccoli, about 12 ounces, maybe 14 ounces, chop it up. 1 cup of onions, 1 small onion, chop it up as well. I like the white onion, but use whatever you prefer. 1 clove of garlic minced, 1 cup of mayonnaise, a half a cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground mustard, and a half a pound of cooked bacon. Chop it all up. Okay. And guys, in a large bowl, you want to combine the carrots, the broccoli, the raisins, the onion, and the garlic. And in another bowl, you want to mix up the mayonnaise, the sugar, and the mustard. And anybody who has never really mixed mayonnaise and sugar together, like I do with my coleslaw, if you let it sit a while, the sugar will actually break down the mayonnaise and make it a little more liquefied for you and be easier to mix up. But anyways, you want to mix it all up and toss all the ingredients together. Then you're going to place it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours to chill. You can actually make this the night before if you want. All right, but right before you eat it, you want to stir in the bacon, because if you stir it in too soon, it's going to get all soggy. Right. But stir the bacon in and serve it, and I'm going to tell you what, guys, it's a wonderful, light, refreshing salad.
You know what that makes me think of, John, when you mention the way the carrots, the broccoli, the raisins, and the other little bits that go in there? It almost makes it sound like it's an ambrosia salad.
Well, it kind of is, Wayne. It's just not as thick. Ambrosia is a little thicker, but yeah, it's a lot of the same ingredients going in there. You can actually add some grapes in there if you want.
Okay, because that's what I was thinking. Because I know my mother's made it in the past, and I look at it and I'm like, that looks like an ambrosia salad. I mean, it's not something that I'm big on as far as like the onions and mayonnaise and all that other mess. But I'm sure I could find something like whipped cream or something to take the place of the mayonnaise or something.
Okay. I don't know about whipped cream, but we could try it.
Hey, I look at it this way. If it's whipped cream I'm doing, I'll probably be running to the I'll probably run into the head just as quickly as this dude over here to my left.
Yeah, you'd be looking like Andy over there.
Yeah, it'd be like a little. Or no, who was it? Larry the Cable Guy that crafted that one. Grandpa Walken farts.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, either which way. Folks, if you ever want to get a hold of the NASCAR Chef, all you got to do is send him an email at racingtothe-grill. That's RACING, the number 2, thegrill @gmail.com. And, John, again, we can't let you end the segment without those 3 famous words, brother.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby. All right, and folks, with that said here, we are going to step aside. We're going to take that next LUAC Energy Foreign Fuel, the final one of the show. And when we come back, hopefully this dude back from the bathroom, and we're going to get into some final news of the week. In fact, John, I think I heard that Haley Deegan might be going Xfinity racing. You hear about that?
Yeah, that's what I heard, Wayne. She's, I forget what team it is, but they made an announcement, I believe, Friday or Saturday.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have to go pay attention to that one when we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at Facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at Twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at Instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And Andy, man, I tell you what, carrot and broccoli salad from the NASCAR Chef this week. It's a shame you had to miss that recipe.
Hey, that's all right. I had to go Go visit the little boy's room. That's all right.
I was gonna say, whew, good God, yeah, I could smell it now.
I closed the door and I sprayed. Relax.
Yeah. Well, apparently it hasn't made it. The spray hasn't made its way in. Your fart certainly did, though. But don't worry, I'll clear up that problem later on with one of my own.
TMI, bro.
Yeah, right. But with that said, here, folks, we got to move on to some final news of the week here, and this one, Andy, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy to see, because she has not had the best 2023 as far as the Truck Series is concerned, but she's going to be going into a pretty decent team in the Xfinity Series, and that being one, Hailie Deegan, moving up to a full-time Xfinity ride in 2024.
Yeah, and I am not jumping for joy at that, because she's going to AM Racing, which in itself is far from being a powerhouse, mediocre at best.
They might be mediocre, but they're still a decent team.
Okay. They suck. But here's the deal. She's at Thor Sport this year. Mm-hmm. That is a Truck Series powerhouse, Matt Crafton's team.
Yep.
So she's done nothing. She's a nice girl and marketable. Oh my gosh, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
She sucks.
Well, and what's funny is in her dirt days, she was phenomenal.
Yeah, she won 2 ARCA West races. So,
and not to mention, did very well in the dirt in the SRX series this year.
And she did. She did good in SRX. It's just not transferring over, at least to the trucks.
Right.
Now, the Xfinity cars drive a little differently than the trucks do.
And on top of that, if you remember her run in the Xfinity Series earlier this season, her average finish overall in the Truck Series has been 21st or worse. As far as the 2023 season is concerned, her one and only run in the Xfinity Series, she managed to score a top 15.
In whose car?
And I believe it was an AM Racing car.
All right, because an AM Racing car is a 15th place car on a good day. Brett Moffitt, I do believe, is running that thing, and that's where he stands in the points as 15th.
But still, the fact that it's showing promise as far as moving forward is where the credit should be given. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm just saying, yay, she's moving up, but don't expect anything unless AM Racing gets a huge injection of cash and technology from Ford, because Hailie Deegan is a Ford development driver.
Right. And well, time will tell. We'll see what happens moving forward into the off season in 2024. Who knows? We might see something really come about with AM Racing. But again, time will tell.
Okay. All the best to them.
And then moving on over now here into the Trans Am Series, and I love hearing about the Trans Am Series, because we talked about the SCCA. They had their runoffs as well last weekend up at VIR, and man, I tell you what, the ground pounders, Andy. I was listening to them on the radio. God, I love those ground pounders. That is a class like none other when it comes to the SCCA. And even though they were at VIR this past weekend for the SCCA runoffs, coming into 2024, they will be back at Road America.
Absolutely stoked to hear that. Road America is hands down my favorite venue to go to a race. I like the track for sure. Love the area. It's beautiful up there, especially the time of the year that the runoffs are running. And the people in Elkhart Lake are wonderful. And like I've heard you say before, it's in the area of someone that you're just all gaga over.
It's Natalie Decker country. Yep. And
exactly.
And I'm not the only one that's gaga for her. I mean, we love Natalie when it comes to Burning Rubber Radio. Yeah. And we consider Natalie a very close friend of the show, and everything that she's doing for junior arthritis and everything like that. It's a big thing for what she's got going on.
That's right, and she's always been very happy to come on, and she's jovial and everything, and she's also really the same person, folks, that you see Natalie Decker. on social media and on TV and whatnot. She's like that in person too.
She's a very bubbly personality, which suits her in spades.
Yeah, 100%.
So, again, good stuff, talking about Natalie Decker there for a minute here. But, and actually, this also ties into Natalie, too, with what she's done in the Trans Am Series a little bit this year and last, Andy. But the Trans Am Series themselves, they were up at Alton, Virginia shortly after the SCCA runoffs, with the Trans Am Series running at VIR this past weekend. And 17 years old, Andy. Again, let me repeat that. 17 years old. 17-year-old Connor Zilich accomplished something at Virginia International Raceway that no driver in the TA Series presented by Pirelli has ever done before, and that is winning 2 races in different classes in a single weekend.
Wow, hats off to him. That's not an easy feat.
Right. And on top of that, again, too, the fact, again, being 17 years old. He's not even an adult, and he's doing this.
Oh, we're going to see more and hear more from him, I'm sure.
And needless to say, Ty Gibbs could take a lesson from little Connor's look.
Yeah. True. You're going to talk F1?
Yeah, we're going to talk F1, and good thing Zach's not here because God knows he'd be face-palming again. 14 victories this year for Max Verstappen, and fresh off of clinching his 3rd consecutive F1 championship in Saturday's race, Max Verstappen won the Qatar Grand Prix on Sunday.
And he beat the hell out of everyone, too. I think the only threat to him not running first was in turn 1, where 2 guys got together off the track and everything, and then he just walked away from there.
Yep, the only 2 other drivers that even remotely put anything on Verstappen's back door was Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Those were the only, and that's the McLaren duo too. So
correct.
McLaren and Red Bull, those were the only 2 that even had anything for the Qatar Grand Prix this past weekend.
Well, the fat lady needs to start singing because Verstappen's the champion.
Yep.
Not 100% yet, but man, if he's not champion, something's up. He's got it all but done.
He's already clinched it with Sat.
He did. Okay, I was reading that he had not clinched it yet. So good for him. I knew it. So yep, fat lady sing.
Yep. So because the piece officially came out on October 8th, being on Monday here, where he officially clinched it on Saturday's sprint for qualifying, and then officially with the win on Sunday, he just further cemented it.
That's great. Good for Verstappen.
Yeah, some good stuff for Max Verstappen all the way around the port here. And with that here, we've got to move ourselves on over to Pikaruski for Vegas coming up here. And again, Zach's not here because, well, instead of hanging out with us, he decided to take his girlfriend to the zoo for her birthday.
Yeah, we don't have sick days at Burning Rubber Radio. He just got his pay docked.
Yep, exactamundo. But with that being the case here, Andy, who is your pick for Vegas?
Let's keep a big smile on our face. I'd love to see A.J. Allmendinger get the second one, but it's not going to happen because Chris Buescher's going to seal his deal and make it into the round of 4 with a win.
Funny thing is, you picked somebody different based on
I know,
the
and I
text
changed my
thread.
mind.
Yeah, I guess you're allowed to do that. I'll let you do it. I mean, after all, you've only picked the guy who you were going to pick about 10 times already this year anyway. So
yeah,
I would dare say round of 8, round of 4 conversion. I'm gonna say, if not MTJ, because that's who I was thinking of going with originally. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say Buescher gets it done.
Let's give him all the good vibes. Come on, Chris, get this done, buddy.
Yep, let's do it to it on that one, buddy. And then Taylor Burris goes with Ryan Blaney for this weekend coming up here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which I actually got to see Taylor yesterday while he was in town doing some kart chaser stuff up at Trackhouse Motorplex too. So,
all right.
And Taylor wants to tell everybody with Burning Rubber Radio, hello, and he will be back soon. He is just working on some scheduling things to make some stuff happen here. Zachary Murtis, on the other hand here, he is going with William Byron this week. Honestly, I should just give him a default pick to dock him for the week. What do you think?
Yeah, give him the 77, buddy.
Ty Dillon. That's what you get.
Yeah.
You get Ty Dillon, Zach. You don't get Willie B. So when you're listening to the show, if you come back and you jump for joy saying Willie B won, no, you didn't win. Nope, that's your punishment. That is your punishment. NASCAR chef John Dix, he is going to go with he went with Kyle Larson for this weekend coming up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then Bobby Dale Earnhardt did not get himself a pick in this week, so
77.
Yep, he gets stuck with Josh Bilicki this week.
Oh, Josh Bilicki's even worse. Is he even in the race?
He was he's racing under BJ McLeod Motorsports this weekend.
Oh my God! Well, poor BD. Maybe next week can get your pick in on.
I'll tell you what, let me double check just to make sure he didn't sneak one in on me. No, he did not. Okay. So I had to
last week he did.
Yeah, he snuck it in like last second while we were in the middle of picks. So, yeah, that's the thing, BD. Don't do it again. Yeah, but with that said here, folks, we have got to get ourselves out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio on all of our wonderful radio affiliates, Tan Talk Radio Network, Sunshine 96.7 FM, Frontier Country, everybody that's involved with the show. We love you guys. And until next week, I'm Wayne Owens for Andy DeLay, Taylor Burr, Zachary Murtis, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, NASCAR chef John Dix. Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of the Performance Motorsports Network in association with the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina. This week's episode was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio may also be downloaded from our podcast site, pmn2.com, or from Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. The opinions expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect those of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be with the express written permission of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group.